Nicholas Gizzetti, he wants to know if I have any structure in my training. Of course. I think personally, if you don't have any structure in your training, if you don't have any training plan, or if you don't have a goal, you're not training, you're just riding your bike. There's a difference between riding your bike every day or training every day. I have a year plan. I set out my goals, I set out my peak period, and I train to it. So basically in the winter it's a lot of base training, and the intensity will increase as I come towards my goals. Josh and Whittaker, what are the chances you coming to Australia to do the Tour Down Under? I think the chances are pretty small, since I'm not in any pro cycling team, and I think the Tour Down Under is all pro riders, isn't it? Rexel again, another question. What's your advice on diet, raising your wattage per kilo? Okay, so you want to be stronger and you want to be lighter. It means you need to do strength training. It can be either on the bike or in the gym. You need to adjust your diet because you want to decrease weight. If you have a fat percentage of 20%, you can lose a lot of fat. You can lose a lot of weight just by fat mass. So decrease your caloric intake by about 500 calories below what you need in a day. But don't do this in the middle of your racing season, because then you will not be able to recover properly. You're gonna be tired, you're not gonna get your normal performance. So losing weight, you can better do it in the winter when there's no races. I say winter because in the Netherlands in the winter there's no races. I mean off season. Losing weight, you should do it off season, because then you can go below the calories a day that you actually need, and maybe you don't feel as strong as normally, but it's okay because you don't have any races. But if your fat percentage is very low, it's kind of hard to lose weight. I have the same problem. I'm trying to lose weight, but I can't really lose any fat, so it's all muscles. I'm trying to lose muscle, but it's going very, very slow. Michael Zohorik, what's your favorite Dutch beer? First of all, I don't really drink beer, only in a rare occasion. Second, I don't like beer, so I can't tell you what my favorite is. David Cycling Vlogs. What up, David? He wants to know if I shave my legs. I do. I tell you why. Because when you get a massage and you have freaking long hairs, it hurts like crazy. Spartan Mobile, is there any way I can get into track cycling if there's no velodrome in my city? I think you should get transport to the velodrome which is close by and go there. You need to invest. If you want to be in track cycling, you need to train on the track, so you need to go to the velodrome. You can do your regular training on the road, but still specific training will be done on the track. T-Bin, what's your favorite carb to fuel up with? Because he's getting sick of raw rice. Well, I would say add something to the rice to make it taste good, man. I like rice, potatoes, I eat bread, I eat pasta. It's all carbs. T-God, he has a question about what a good starter bike is. He's been riding some kilometers on his mountain bike and he wants to know what kind of bike should I buy. Well, go online, try to buy a second-hand road bike. Don't worry about any carbon bikes, whatever, just go aluminum. Aluminum is safe. If you crash it, it doesn't break. And you need to develop your cycling skills first and then think about your proper equipment. There's been a lot of questions. I'll be back. Okay, back in the hotel room. Guys, if I don't mention your exact question, I'm sorry. Some questions are almost the same. Sometimes I overlook other questions, so send me a message or reply to this Q&A with the question again, and I'll make sure I get it next time. Bullfry wants to know how I can manage such a good audio quality with the GoPro. Do you have an external microphone or something to block the wind? I don't. I just use the GoPro on the bike, and for these vlogs I have a microphone on top. Just to give you a little bit better audio, but when I'm riding my bike, it's too complicated to have the GoPro with the big microphone on the top, so I'm just using the GoPro in a case with an open back. I'm using this case, it has holes in the back, so that gives you the audio quality. But you can still hear the wind. This is the closed back door, which I would use with water sports or whatever. Max Ellingson, Jasper, do you use power or heart rate, etc., or do you just go by feel? I've started to use power recently, but I've always been using heart rate. I think it's so much more specific and precise. If you just train by feel, you don't really know exactly what you're doing. And if you want to be serious about cycling, serious about training, you should get a heart rate monitor at least, because that's how you can really progress. And that's when, where you can see if you're progressing in training, or if you've been on the same level for such a long time, or if you're going down, if you do too much maybe, or whatever. So yes, always try to use data. Dupree, which GoPro session do you use? This one. Martin Zverik, what kind of software do I use for the telemetry overlays? I use Garmin Verb. I recently found out how to use the power data. Thanks to my viewers JD Lin and Steve Hoshku. Thanks! I found out that I need to grab the .fit file from Garmin Connect, so straight from the Garmin. Trike. Curious about what kind of headlight I'm using. I don't have the light here, but I use a Lyzen 400 XL something. Pressed. Do you get used to the new time zone? Or how are you rested when flying your plane? Guys, I'm in one location for 1, 2, maximum 3 nights, so I don't really get used to the new time zone because it takes about 1 day every hour, and usually it's between 5 and 9 hours time difference. It depends on where I go, if I really try to stay in Amsterdam time or if I really go into the local time. How do I stay rested? I try to sleep as much as I can, which doesn't always work because your body is well awake when it's night because of the time difference and vice versa. So it's hard. A couple hours here, a couple hours there. Hugo H. He wants to know what I drink during races and training. I use the same stuff in training as I use in the race. You have to get used to the product you're using in the races, so don't go ride all your training with one thing and then use another product in the race. Mick B, he wants to know what the warm up and warm down routine is on my on the trainer before and after the race. Basically, before the race I do about 10 minutes easily cycling, just getting the heart rate up a little bit. Then I'll try to get the heart rate up to a level that I think I'm about to do in the race. Just up to your threshold or above. Just get your heart rate there before you start racing, so your body is ready for the effort. After the race, just easy 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just spinning out the legs, not much. The Christen, what tires are you using? Continental Grand Prix 4000 S2. Ollie Murensen, do you ever train calves on leg day? Yes, I do. The video I posted about my strength training is not the only thing I do, of course. Sometimes I do different training. So I vary my exercises. Also, it depends on which period I'm in. What do I typically eat after the gym? Usually oatmeal with banana, eggs, chicken, tuna, anything with protein. Mate Burian, he wants to know when I started with road cycling. That is in 2013. I started on the road bike just for fun and also for an event. It's called Alpe d'Huez, where we ride up Alpe d'Huez in France, and we do it as much as we can in one day to raise money for cancer. You can do it up to 6 times in a day. I did 7. And he wants to know how many years would it take to properly race in category 1 or 2. It depends on your talent, bro. I think in USA you need to do so many starts and so many points before you can progress to the next category. So it all depends on how good you are. Can't really give you any answer on this. What's your volume in kilometers? Last year I did about 12,500. This year I think I'll do 15. Matrix Complex. He wants to know what model is your Oakley. It's the radar path. Cape 911. Where do you put your GoPro when you're not filming? In the back pocket of my jersey. Irvin Amba. She wants to know how to brake in the curve. She's a bit doubtful about how to brake when she's in the corner. Well, you can brake hard before the turn and then slowly ease off the brake when you turn in. It's okay to brake in the turn. If the turn is very big downslope, you'll need to brake, because if not, you'll be accelerating in the turn again, which you don't always want. It depends on how fast you take the turn. If you're already on your maximum grip by only turning, hitting the brakes would probably make you slide out. So, Prests! How does racing in Netherlands compare to USA? I had this question before and now I can answer because I've done some races. It's completely different. Races in the Netherlands, as you've seen, are very tight, small courses, narrow roads, sharp turns, speed bumps, potholes. It's crazy. The races I did in USA, the criteriums, it's a freaking 4-lane road, 4 right turns. It's the most easy thing you can do. And the speed is high all the time, so it's completely different. The races in the Netherlands, after every corner you need to accelerate and get back up to speed. In USA, you can go through the corner with 45 kilometers an hour and it's fine. So, very different. John Weirden wants to know how the Fuji compares with the Canyon. I think there's a difference in angle of the front fork or a difference in rake shift, which makes them feel different in the front end. So it's just different bikes. It depends on what you like. I think I prefer the Aero because I spend more time on the Aero. David Cycling Vlogs, have you ever done track? I have, a long time ago when I was I think 16 years old. I've been on the track and they asked me to join the track cycling team, but I prefer BMX racing. Do you prefer rim or disc brakes? Difficult question. I haven't ridden disc brakes with a hydraulic system. I've only ridden disc brakes on a mechanical system and those were not better than my rim brakes. So at the moment, not sure. Alright, another question from Kuan Hao. What's my thought on ceramic bearings? I think ceramic bearings are for the pros because they're expensive and the gain is, there's a gain, but it's very minimal. So for a regular person, you can better just either lose weight or get better tires, get new tires, get a new chain, whatever, to have a way more increase in performance for less money than to buy ceramic bearings. But for the pros, they already done everything. Their diet is perfect, their training is perfect, the bike is set up is perfect. So they're trying to find those little things that are gonna make the difference. And if that's the ceramic bearing, then it's a ceramic bearing. I don't use it. I replace my bearings when I need it, so not a lot actually. Just keep it clean, looped, and then they will go for a long time. Steve W wants to know, oh, he has a lot of questions. How long have you been a qualified pilot? I started flying in 2010 and it took me less than 2 years to get my pilot license. So that's about 5 years. How long have you been cycling seriously on proper training plans? Well, back when I was BMX racing, I was on a proper training plan and I've been on a proper training plan in 2013 and then 2016 and then this year, so 3 years. Would you quit your job if you would have had a professional contract? I don't know. Alias Rudiger, what's your maximum speed on a descent? It was on the Mont Ventoux, it was 95 kilometers an hour. Okay guys, I think I've been answering a lot of questions. This was it for this month. I think I'm gonna do a Q&A every month, so just keep sending those questions. Post your question in this video. It's easier for me to get your question. If I miss your questions in other videos, I'm sorry. Post it here and I'll get back to you next month with a new Q&A. See ya!